They both said they worked out their differences last week, and nothing heals old wounds like success.
Making a fan happy in the stands, and why not? I think right now about 65,000 of them are happy as the 49ers have gone up by 2 touchdowns. There's Terrell Owens. We talked about the run after the catch being down. It certainly wasn't the case after that one, and already he's got 140 receiving yards and just picked up his 3rd TD.
And this is vintage Terrell Owens, and this is why, Kurt, that so many of Jeff Garcia's numbers are so good, because Owens after the catch, the stiff arm, the speed, the moves, the vision. Outstanding. And then this is a pretty kind of different celebration there.
Look at the move. He got 70 of those 75 yards after the catch. It was only a little 5-yard dump pass, but he ran it the rest of the way, and the Buccaneers couldn't catch him. There's the celebration. Knocked himself out.
Yeah, that kind of makes you nervous. Like that's looked like a Gus Frerotte celebration.
And the 49ers have gone up 21-7 on the defending Super Bowl champions.
Should be no surprise to anyone who's been around Terrell Owens that he does things differently. The bump on the goalpost to celebrate.
Now most of that was made on the cornerbacks, and Dwight Smith was there covering him, but you have to wonder about the effect of John Lynch being out of this ball game and what it's having on the Tampa defense, considering his leadership skills as well. There's Thomas Jones at the 5-yard line. Penalty flag down on the play as Jones is brought down at the 29-yard line by Jeff Ulbrich.
During a return, illegal block in the back above the waist, number 56 of the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, Kurt, NFL fans know that Terrell Owens has always been a guy with a lot of emotion. He's also been a guy who make a lot of big plays.
Right now, there's Michael Pittman with a short 6-yard reception. But, you know, Terrell Owens, you talk about big plays, half of his yards today after the catch. And we get back to the point, this is what Terrell Owens is known for.
And that's almost as many run after catch yards as he had in his prior 6 games combined.
Yeah, what was it, 114 or so? 114,
yes.
119, something like that. And less than 120. And so far, he's just about to catch up to that with 6.5 minutes plus left to go here in the first half against the Buccaneers. Johnson on 2nd down. That's caught by Todd Yoder, the tight end. Takes out one of the coaches on the sideline. That's not one of the coaches, that's the head coach, John Gruden. And now we know he's fiery and likes to get in there with his guys, but I don't think that's what the management wants.
Well, Yoder made a big splash last week when he scored 2 touchdowns. So they're getting him back involved in the game this week.
Look at Gruden bounce right back up, though.
Yeah.
It's just like when a player goes, hey, you didn't hurt me. He just bounces right back up, you know?
He did bounce right back up, and, you know, his hat didn't get flustered. And
he's already got a play call, I guarantee you. First down at the 27. Johnson lost it over there, and that's caught by Carl Williams. He takes it out to the 47-yard line. 19 yards on the play.
Carl Williams is a guy that Tampa Bay got back from an injury, and they felt that having him back as the 3rd receiver and having Keenan McCardell and having Johnson back to a little bit better health was going to help them with their deep passing game today. And Kurt, we've seen him most of the time go with the shorter passing game. Their one touchdown came off the deep pass to Keenan McCardle, and that seems to be what they're going to.
Yeah, there's Joe Fisher still on the sideline after spraining his MCL. Told me he expects to be back next week. As that falls incomplete. He said if not next week, the week after for sure against New Orleans. Back down the coast to L.A. and JB for another game break.
Seattle's lead.
21-7 here. 49ers on top of the Buccaneers, and the Bucs have been unable to stop San Francisco on the offensive side of the ball. Their offense right now marching down the field, have the ball at the 47-yard line here on second down. Thomas Jones in at running back, and Jones picks up 4 yards. One of the 49ers lost a helmet. Looks like Devin Claybrooks, the former Buccaneer, part of that Super Bowl team last year.
You know, Tampa Bay has this West Coast offense, and it's built on the pass play. But you do want to mix the run in as well. And John Gruden does want to mix the run in. But so far, their running game has had almost zero success. Kurt, 5 runs so far, only 5 yards. A yard a carry against this 49er defense.
They need to get it to the San Fran 43 for the first. Pittman fighting. He'll be close.
I think he got it. And I think he got it on what Pittman does best. He's a strong player, and he runs the ball violently.
Rashad Holman made the tackle, but looked like he couldn't hold Pittman from getting that. They'll bring out the sticks just to see how close it is. It looks like he just barely got it, at least according to our 1st and 10 marker, but it's the guy wearing the white hat who counts.
And I think Rashad Holman might have hurt himself on that play also.
Yeah, they just should take a look at the 1st and 10 marker and said, Fox says it's a first down, so it's got to be, right? I mean, we do control the sports world, don't we? That's what
I
people
think
think.
so.
They
I
think
mean,
whatever
you would
Fox
think with
wants,
all
Fox
the big
gets.
football games and then the World Series that we've got the inside track anyway.
Big doubleheader day of football, and then the World Series tonight. Whatever you want. You don't even need a clicker these days. How often do you say that? So it's a first down in 49er territory. Ball on the 43-yard line. Pittman going out wide to the right. Here's Johnson. Being pressured. Underneath, Jameel Cook bottling that ball. Lucky that it didn't fall into the hands of Jeff Ulbrich, who was in there to wrap him up. Bryant Young came on the pressure against Brad Johnson.
Yeah, Bryant Young did an excellent job against Kenyatta Walker. Look at that right there. Upfield movement, pressure on Brad Johnson. There's another hit on him. And so Johnson just immediately goes to the dump pass. And again, we see Jameel Cook struggling to get his hands on that football.
Yeah, he's fortunate because that ball was riding on his shoulder and down his back, that it didn't get picked off by one of the 49er defenders.
And that was how the pass to Pittman led to the first interception by the 49ers in the first drive.
There's a quick pass by Johnson out to Ken Dilger. Dilger hit right along the sidelines by Julian Peterson. Jimmy Williams had him wrapped up, though.
Well, Kurt, Brad Johnson has only been sacked once, which actually is an accomplishment because he was only sacked once prior to this game. But I think more importantly is the 49ers have put a lot of hits on him. 6 hits. They forced him to scramble 4 times, and that really has helped lead to that 1 interception. So their game plan of putting pressure on Brad Johnson, I think, has worked in part, but this is a critical 3rd down right here.
Remember, besides the interception, he also had a fumble that the Buccaneers recovered. They need the 33 for the first.
They got him again.
Well, he overthrows Keenan McCardle, incomplete.
And they pounded Brad Johnson again. And I talked to Jim Mora right before this game, and I reminded him about the New Orleans Saints, who beat the world champions last year twice. And this is how they did it. They got after Brad Johnson. This time it's Bryant Young again. Young, right now, Kurt, Young is dominating the line of scrimmage.
So Tom Tuchel will come on to punt once again. 5th time today we've seen him come on. Jimmy Williams back to take it. That one bounces down inside the 5. Buccaneers try and hold it there. Dwayne Rudd was the guy who got it and did keep it in. So the ball will be spotted right at the 1-yard line. Good play by the Buccaneers special teams. Well, next week, Fox NFL Sunday begins with America. We got the Giants and the Vikings going next week as well. It's not
Randy, and we'll see the 49er game because we'll be there.
Terrell Owens going nowhere. Picks up about 3 yards on the play. Tim Wansley with the tackle.
And that's a good job by Wansley. Because again, when you're out there and you're singled up on Terrell Owens, as Wansley is, you got to be thinking about the last time Terrell Owens caught a pass on the outside and beat a bunch of people for a touchdown. That's a high pressure tackle, because I think that the Tampa Bay Bucs, with the success the 49ers have had running the ball, they're going to continue to keep the safety in the box and try to play against and defend against the run. It looks like Lynch is back.
Yes, he is. He came back in right before this play on second down. That's Garrison Hurst picking up 2 yards on the run, but Lynch playing with that stinger in his neck. We saw him miss several series. Looks like he's going to try it right before halftime so they can figure out whether or not he can continue to go. As we get a timeout on the field, Tampa Bay uses their first before the 2-minute warning.
Well, I would imagine that John Lynch sitting over there on the side is just got to be grinding his teeth when he watches his defense giving up so many yards on the ground. 97 yards so far in this first half.
Against a team that has given up 93 per game all season long, which is 9th best in the National Football League. And already we haven't gotten to halftime yet, and the 49ers have put up more than that, but they've also done it through the air. Right now, San Francisco with 280 yards of total offense in this first half.
I think this is a play right now where the 49ers want to put Jeff Garcia on the move. And Garcia's numbers are nice today. He's 7 for 10, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I think part of that is because he is throwing on the move and he's getting rid of the ball quickly. I would expect them to try to roll him out away from Simeon Rice.
3 receivers in for the Niners, needing the 12-yard line. They go up top. Ty Streets overthrown, incomplete.
It's going to be passing.
Yep, there's a late flag thrown out. Brian Kelly was running right there with him.
And Brian Kelly looks like he's hurt. Remember, he's got that torn pec muscle, and he reaches out and grabs Ty Streets, and he may have strained that muscle. So things go from bad to worse for the Tampa Bay defense. With John Lynch, the key to their run defense, hurt. And now Brian Kelly.
Pass interference. Number 25, defense. The first down at the spot of the foul.
And there you see Kelly getting up, but obviously in a lot of pain, and that left pec is what he's flexing right now.
Well, Kurt, I said roll Garcia out, but instead they just go with a 3-step drop, and that ball is out of there. They're not taking any chances with Warren Sapp and Simeon Rice. And then you see right here Kelly, watch him reach out with that left hand and grab Streets.
Winds up being a 26-yard penalty, and Anthony McFarland wraps up Garrison Hurst right at the line of scrimmage, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Here in San Francisco, Niners up by 2 touchdowns. Well, we are 1:57 on the game clock away from the Visa halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy with all the latest scores from around the league and highlights. Plus, the new and improved Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. That's the Visa halftime report. Right now, it's 21-7. Terrell Owens and the 49ers leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers with some secondary injuries, and right now facing 3 wide receivers for San Francisco.
And Kurt, this is where Jeff Garcia typically has been at his best, in a 2-minute drill where he runs around and improvises.
Now the Buccaneers came on a blitz and they got right to him. Rondé Barber with the sack, and they called an immediate timeout.
Well, Rondé Barber, I don't know if he got there first or not, but Warren Sapp was turned pretty much loose again on this. Watch Warren Sapp, Kurt. He comes right through here. He puts the move on Ron Stone. No one blocks Warren Sapp. That's a mental breakdown by the 49ers. That's the second time we've seen Sapp come unblocked. And, you know, normally teams are double teaming Warren Sapp. But I think the focus for the 49ers offensively, as far as protection, was helping Quaim Harris out against Simeon Rice on the outside. You saw Howie Long go through it on the pregame show and the different ways that they wanted to try to help the rookie pass block against Simeon Rice. And I think with the focus shifted to Rice, Warren Sapp has been able to get some heat on Garcia.
Well, the Buccaneers call the timeout right now because it's a key third down. If they can stop San Francisco here, they'll get the ball back. Garcia under pressure again, steps up, throws, and that's a bad throw on the run. Incomplete. And so it will stop the clock with 1:46 left, and the Buccaneers will get the football back.
Tell you, the 49ers on that last play did exactly what Howie Long was talking about in the pregame show when he slammed Terry Bradshaw. Right, if you saw, he put Terry right into the wall.
Terry liked it.
They gave Quaim Harris some help with Jed Weaver, the tight end, and they were able to keep Simeon Rice out.
And so here's Bill LaFleur on the punt. Close to being blocked, but he got it off. Carl Williams will let it bounce. And the Niners will down it. Dwayne Carpenter may have stopped that ball a little bit early. It'll be right at the 23.
Kurt, take a look at that for, I think
10 years.
He got him good.
Well, the Buccaneers will begin at the 24-yard line, down by 14. They've got one timeout left, but that throw is bad behind Ken Dilger, incomplete. The Buccaneers trying to get something going to go into halftime.
I'll tell you, one adjustment John Gruden's going to have to make in the halftime is they're going to have to do something with Bryant Young. Because right now, the Tampa Bay is trying to block Bryant Young with one guy, and they're not doing it. Brad Johnson looked like he thought the route was supposed to bend in instead of out.
They hand it off to Michael Pittman.
After talking with Brad Johnson, Kurt, yesterday, and knowing how just fanatic he is as being a student of the game and studying the game plan and knowing it, if Brad Johnson thinks it was supposed to bend in, you better believe it was supposed to bend in. I think Johnson and Gruden are the perfect student-teacher combination.
Well, remember, Ken Dilger didn't practice this week because of that bad foot, and he was the intended receiver on that play. Don't know whether or not that had any effect, but it may have on that play. Right now it's a third down for the Bucs. They need the 34-yard line. Johnson lost it up. McCardell, the nearest receiver over there, he's covered nicely by Jimmy Williams, and that'll fall incomplete.
I should have known that John Gruden wouldn't wait until halftime to make an adjustment when Bryant Young was giving so many problems. Watch BY right here, and there's both the guard and the center waiting there for him to try to give Brad Johnson time. But you saw on the other side of the screen, Chidi Ahanotu that time got